Between the rise of AI, DIY travel apps, and influencers seemingly everywhere, is there still a place for travel agents today? And is it still worth it to be and become a travel agent? Do we even need travel agents anymore? That's exactly the question I'm going to answer in this video. Hi, by the way, my name is Brittany. I'm the founder of Travel Agent Haven. I've been a travel agent myself since 2020. Since then, I've helped over 100 people not only become travel agents, but as a team sell over $6 million in travel. So I do know a thing or two, and I'm hoping that I can answer this question fully and honestly to help you make a decision about whether or not this is right for you, because that's really what you're asking, right? Not just in general, are there still travel agents around? Yes, there are still travel agents, but is it worth it for me to put in the time, energy, effort, and possibly money to make this happen? So let's get into it. If you're thinking about becoming a travel agent or working in the travel and tourism industry, it's good for you to know what travel agents actually do. Many times when we hear about these different jobs and someone's recommending them to us, the person recommending us becoming a travel agent, they often have a very different idea of what being a travel agent is like and what they actually do from day to day than what they did even 10, 20, 30 years ago. Being a travel agent is not just booking flights and hotels anymore, although you definitely can do those things. Although I have some feelings about flights, definitely check out the other videos on my channel about this, because I talk about what's worth booking and what's not worth booking as a travel agent if you really want to go down this rabbit hole. But travel has become a lot more personalized, especially with the rise of AI apps. I mean, if someone wants to book a trip by themselves, of course they can. They have no shortage of options. They can have an AI agent plan and even book and pay for some things for them, which is weird and scary, but also cool. They can use ChatGPT to put together an itinerary, although there are some warnings there. We'll talk about that. Or they can just DIY it and do what's been really popular for the last 10 years. Book on Airbnb, book on Expedia, etc. But here's the secret. The people who are often booking in these ways are usually not the people you actually want to work with as a travel agent if and when you become one, if you're not a travel agent already. So the first step is understanding that there will always be people who prefer to work with a human one-on-one. They want that personal touch, and I want to reassure you of that. And there's evidence in the fact that just this month, if I were to go with my dashboard and show you, I can show you that people are earning hundreds and thousands of dollars per month by working with people one-on-one. People want that personal touch. In fact, the more that we have AI and automation and DIY options come available, we're going to have an equal and opposite push for more human, more connection, more personalization. So that should be really good news to you. Yes, there will be these other tools and options, and I guess you could see them as competition, but the people who are booking with you don't just want convenience. They want something that's perfect for them. And that is what I teach my travel agents how to do, how to really get into the minds and the hearts of the people they're helping and serving. That is what helps you win in this weird world we're in today. Travel today is a lot more personalized. We're not just looking for the cheapest all-inclusive or X hotel and X destination. We're looking for something that's perfect for the person we're helping. And that means you really need to know them, right? You need to have a connection and a relationship with them. You have to know their wants, their dreams, their fears. What are their dislikes? What are things they want to avoid? Not just planning a trip and delivering it to them, although you definitely can do that. But I'm telling you, the ones who make the most money, they do have personal relationships. They are building those one-on-one connections with their clients. And being a travel agent, you'll often hear me say this, is just one hat you wear, okay? When you think about all the things you actually do once you start any business, you're not really just booking trips, right? You're also now a marketing person. You're a content creator. You're an influencer. You're a coach. Travel can be really stressful and scary, especially for someone who's never done it before or who hasn't done it a lot. So you're really holding this person's hand. You're guiding them through this whole experience. And that means you have to have a lot of understanding and empathy and patience. If you're doing group trips, which I have a whole playlist on that, if that's something you want to learn more about, then you're also a host, playing the part of retreat planner, of event planner, of coordinator. In the act of attracting people to you and your brand, of attracting clients, you're also creating content. Maybe this means you start a YouTube channel or an Instagram page or a Facebook group. And in the act of doing these things to attract clients and help people for free, you are also, funny enough, becoming a content creator or an influencer, which, by the way, can lead you to other really cool opportunities down the road. So there's no shortage of opportunity out there. So when I answer the question, what does a travel agent even do? Yes, booking trips is definitely part of it. Planning itineraries is part of it. Sales is a part of it. But really, that's just one slice. That's the visible part of what we do. There's so much more than that. And that's why I tell people, don't go down the wrong rabbit holes. And what I mean by that is, so many times, and maybe you're already there, people get stuck on which host agency is the best, or which host agency should I do? I want to avoid XYZ, or what's the best cruise company? Like, we trick ourselves into thinking that this research is actually going to help us, but what it's really doing is just keeping us busy and preventing us from doing the things that are actually going to move the needle, that are going to get us the results we want, that are going to get us closer to where we want to be. So it's funny that the things often that are the least comfortable to us are the things we should be doing. That's what I always find. And so what a travel agent does, that's just part of it. But yes, they're definitely still in use today. And yes, I would say it's definitely still worth it to be a travel agent in my experience, but I don't assume that you're going to just take my word for it, which is why we're going to keep going. Let's first talk about the state of the travel industry. There has been a rise in revenge travel in the past several years as of when I'm recording this. The really fun thing that people often don't see is they look at the competition. They look at all these apps and tools and think, oh, this thing's not going to be around anymore. But I see this as a sign of increased demand, which is super exciting. The reason that there are so many apps and tools and AI bots and agents coming out is because more and more people are wanting to travel. That means the pool of people who would possibly use a travel agent in the future is widening, especially because I kind of hinted at this earlier. Someone who goes and uses ChatGPT for itinerary planning is going to very quickly find that there are limitations with these tools. Even a really great custom ChatGPT, which by the way is something you can build as a travel agent, as a product you can create. There's so many ways to make money as a travel agent, not just booking trips. Even if you were to create something like that, no tool or app you could ever make can replace human lived experience. Yes, ChatGPT can take people's experiences online and synthesize that information and share some kind of output with the person who's doing a search or planning an itinerary, but it's never going to know everything you know or have lived all that you've lived. So if someone is planning a trip to Ireland, I am very confident that today I could have a 7 to 10 day itinerary planned pretty well for them because I already know where I would send them. I know who leads the tours and hosts the experiences that are worth doing, and ChatGPT can only do that based on public-facing databases and reviews. But guess what? I like working with people that are not overrun, that are not going to get all the different advertising from all the social media platforms. I work with people who are the best kept secret because they want to keep it small and tight and personalized. And there will always be a market for that. In fact, that market is growing. People want to have experiences of places they go to. They don't just want to go to where the top reviewed place is because it's busy and crowded, and they don't want that. People want to go off the beaten path. They want to try new things. They want to have experiences that not many others have before. And I think one really great example of this is the rise in Antarctica travel. It is such an amazing experience right now to go to Antarctica because even though more people have gone now in the past couple of years than ever before, like in our human history, which is already incredible to think about, more people are going to want experiences like that because it's so different to go somewhere where there's no electricity, no internet, there's no traffic, there are no crowds. It's just ice, penguins, natural beauty. That's another whole set of trends I see is more adventure travel, more expedition cruising, because it combines adventure travel with people who maybe wouldn't be able to access adventure travel otherwise, like maybe they have disabilities or mobility issues. I see a rise in sensory sensitivity travel. I see a rise in travel by diet, people who are gluten-free, who are doing paleo or keto, people who have diabetes and they have specific needs when they travel. We're going to see a new level of hyper customization and personalization that we never have before. It's only going to increase. And the really cool thing about that for you is, yeah, if you go into the travel agent space and you say, I'm going to sell cruises, it's going to be really hard for you to compete and stand out because how many other travel agents are selling cruises? But if you say, I have celiac or I am gluten-free and I am going to focus on cruising as someone who's gluten-free, there you go. You have a wide open market, a blue ocean that not many other people have tapped yet, and you will have people who seek you out and recommend you because they're like, oh my gosh, I've been looking for you. You're solving a real problem for me. Thank you. And you're going to have people who are excited to pay you, which is another crazy thing. Although as a travel agent, they don't even have to pay you. In case you didn't know this, there is a commission built into every single booking of travel that you do, even when you book it yourself, quote unquote. It's just that the company either keeps it themselves. If you book on a hotel's website directly, they're keeping the commission. They're pocketing that, which is weird because you're doing the work and then they're keeping more money. And that might be okay with you. Maybe that's a personal belief you have. Or if you book it online on an online travel agency like Booking, Expedia, etc., then they're keeping the commission, even though you're doing the work, right? So there are always going to be travel agencies. Google Travel technically is a travel agency. You could book through there. It's going to continue to expand. And as the rise in apps and AI and automations grow, the rise in demand for personal touch will grow as well. And also, because of AI, because of the state of the internet, there is so much information. Information is cheap now, but it's also very overwhelming. There's so much information. I don't even want to look at it. I don't have the time. But you, as the travel advisor, as a travel agent, have the opportunity to synthesize that for them. So instead of them just giving it to ChatGPT, find XYZ, which ChatGPT can only find basically like what Google can find, right? But you know where to look, you know where to go, you have specific sources for things, just like fancy food, right? There are tons of grocery stores. That's a very competitive industry, but there are still many people who go to farmers markets. There are still many people who buy from farmers directly, okay? So there will always be a market for that. But also because people are so overwhelmed by information and choice, by you saying, I am the person who's going to come alongside you and distill all of this information down into simple, easy to digest bites, you will become their go-to person. And in fact, that's what I try to be for you. So if you either are a new travel agent or you're thinking about becoming a travel agent, if you've gotten value from this video so far, would you go ahead and like this video? It really does help. It shows you too that this is a quality video that is answering other people's questions. So just thank you in advance so much for doing that. Okay, here's the real question you probably have. Aside from, is this going to be worth it for me, is can I actually still make money as a travel agent today, considering all of these other things? Yes, you definitely can. And just to give a quick little introduction to the world of travel agents and how we actually make money, travel agent work typically is commission-based. So when I book a trip for somebody, I earn a portion of that sale at no extra cost to them. Now, some vendors, some suppliers like cruise lines, tour operators, etc., will give you the choice as a travel agent to add in an extra fee or an extra commission percentage, but most of the time it costs the same exact amount to the traveler, which is like a no-brainer, right? They get extra help and support, and they get their questions answered, and they hear from an expert and from someone who cares about them, and they pay the same thing, and they're doing less work. It's like once you learn that, you yourself as the travel agent, and then you learn how to communicate that to the traveler, there's no way you can't win. So we also earn fees from affiliate marketing. There are certain partners that give you the option to just share a link, like Virgin Voyages does this. If you want to focus on solo female travelers or kid-free travel, like again, there's a great niche. Or you can host trips yourself, right? And then you can either build in a fee as the group trip host, or you can just choose group trips that have a commission percentage that you're happy with. You can also sell digital products, itineraries. So for example, Ireland, I'm so comfortable with the different ways that you could travel around Ireland that if I really sat down to do this, and actually I should challenge myself to do it, I could probably write up like 10 itineraries that I can then sell, pre-made itineraries. I can sell on sites like Etsy and maybe even on my own website. I could offer itinerary planning as a service. So maybe someone doesn't want to book their travel with me, they'd rather book it themselves, but I plan it all out for them and then I charge an itinerary planning fee. By the way, I have several agents who are charging between $250 and $500 just to plan the itinerary, which guess what? That's something you do as a travel agent anyway. So you get paid on the front end by charging for itinerary planning, and then you get paid the commissions after the person travels. So you technically get paid twice from one client. Like, it's incredible. And they feel super supported and happy. They're happy to pay it. If you have a travel niche that is a blue ocean, meaning there aren't other people, there aren't other sharks in the water who are really meeting that need, then yes, you can absolutely make good money. I've already mentioned I have a couple of travel agents who have made really good money, some who have earned over $1 million in commissions since becoming travel agents themselves. I mentor dozens of travel agents who make hundreds of dollars a month doing this very passively part-time. I mentor several travel agents who make thousands of dollars a month, and I have some all over the place, right? Or some that do group trips, that do a few group trips per year, and so they get a few good payouts every year of $8,000 to $12,000 to $15,000. You really get to choose here, and I know on one hand that itself can be overwhelming and stressful because you're like, oh my gosh, it's all on me. But the good news is, because it's all in your hands, you get to choose, right? This is totally a choose your own adventure game. If you have a clear niche though, so gluten-free cruising or Disney with kids who have light sensitivity, because that can be very overwhelming for kids with that, I usually tell people these things when it comes to niche: the destination or the region, the type of traveler. So I do group trips for teachers. That gives me a lot of flexibility. The occasion. So why are they traveling? Is it a family reunion? Is it a honeymoon? Is it a destination wedding? And then also another one I'm adding in is the frequency of trip. So I've seen some people who focus on first time travel to a certain place. Let me give you an example of this. If you're going to Italy for the first time, everybody's going to tell you, you have to see the Leaning Tower of Pisa, you have to see the Colosseum in Rome, you have to do these things that are like hallmark experiences in Italy, right? You have to get some pizza, you have to go to Venice and try to go on a gondola, right? There's all these things you tick off a box. But on your second trip to Italy, that's when you're like, okay, actually, I'm going to go to Milan and Lake Como. I'm going to go to Positano in the south. I'm going to go through the villages in the Cinque Terre. Okay, so there's different things that you experience that you're like, okay, this is for my second trip to Italy. So you can actually get really granular and say, I focus on making your second trip to Italy amazing so that you attract people who are already interested and they already know they like Italy because they've come before. Now, with that in mind, that doesn't mean that you can't also book first-time trips to Italy or that you can't also book first-time trips to Spain, but you become known for a certain thing so that you can stand out online. People search for you. People start recommending you because it's really clear what you do and who you do it for. That is really what a niche is. That's why it's important, but it doesn't have to lock you in. Okay, I do lots of things. It's all good. And then I mentioned this already, but travel commissions are just one tiny piece. When you work with me, if you work with me, I help you build a whole brand around travel, okay? The travel agents I mentor master digital marketing, so if they want to get into social media, email marketing, we do all that. I also have several travel agents who do things in person, and they're starting to get paid speaking gigs. They're getting invited on things for free. They get to work with brands. They're starting to do influencer work, right? Being a travel agent is just like the portal. It's the first door you step through to this whole world, and then we guide you through it one step at a time. Okay, let's talk about the things that are really exciting to me though. What makes being a travel agent worth it today? The flexibility and the freedom cannot be beat, okay? I can do this work from anywhere in the world. Literally. I've been on a sailboat in the middle of Greece looking up trips, daydreaming up itineraries for a client that I knew I wouldn't have to talk to until I got back home. And by the way, there are some things you can do, like I don't do client support on the ground. I communicate that to the client, so you don't have to get those 3 a.m. calls of them struggling on a trip if you don't want that, as long as you communicate that effectively with the client, right? There's all this stuff you learn how to do. But the flexibility is great. I love that I literally get paid to travel sometimes. I love that I have freedom of when I work. I was a teacher for several years and I couldn't even choose when I went to the bathroom, right? Like I never had coverage for my class. I couldn't choose when I ate. I had 15 minutes max. I had to eat with the kids. It was stressful. If I have to go do a doctor's appointment in the middle of the day, I can do that now. Actually, even on the other fun side of this, I want to do this train fam in Colorado. I've been wanting to go for a couple of years, so I'm getting a couple other travel agents who also have flexible schedules together, and we're going to go together because why not? That's fun. So there's a freedom, there's a flexibility that can be obtained once you reach a certain level of mastery and income, of course. Like you have to build up to that point. I love the community. I've already hinted at this, but I've met the best people. I think because people who travel are already certain ilk, right? Like we're flexible. Everything is figure outable for us. Like we are open to new cultures. We're also like positive and open-minded. We see possibility. We want to experience things. So I love travelers. I love working with travelers, but I also love working with travel agents because they don't just see possibility, they're pursuing it. And that's something that I'm really passionate about. You get paid to travel and learn and help others. And like, why wouldn't you want to do that? And it's also really fulfilling work. I'll never forget my first booking. I booked a honeymoon trip for a young couple going to Disney World. They love Disney, and I just thought that was so sweet that I got to do that for them, that they trusted me with that. I was really excited to do that for them. I've done a destination wedding in Hawaii. I've booked an elopement before when the couple was like, forget this, we're going to the mountains in Wyoming. There are so many different things you can do. And see, I've booked like several wedding related things, even though I never advertise that, because it's for certain people that I like. And usually your first few clients are going to be friends and family members anyway. Also, pointing to that, I have a video that walks you through exactly how to get your first few clients as a travel agent with no experience. So if you're wondering how you're going to get your first few clients, I literally walk you through how to do that in this video and throughout this channel. So definitely check that out. Okay. But it's really fulfilling being able to help people pursue their dreams, right? Their bucket list trips, their things that they want to do out of this life. I love being able to help them do that. All right, let's talk about the red flags. When is being a travel agent not worth it? Let's go through that. We have to be fair in this video, right? So if you expect fast money, this is not the gig for you, okay? Just straight up. Now, can you make money quickly? It's possible. I tell people all the time that I was profitable as a travel agent by month 3. I hustled for it though, right? And I did the exercise that I just talked about in that video where I went and got my first 100 leads pretty much right away by doing authentic one-on-one outreach to many people in a very short amount of time. And most people straight up are just not willing to do that. And because they're not willing to do that, they won't do it and they won't get the results. And then they're like, why isn't this working? Because they're spending spending too much time on the wrong things that are not actually helping them get towards the results they want. You also can't expect to get free travel right away or get invited to do these amazing things. Just to give you some perspective, I didn't really build up a name as a travel agent until I was like 3 years into the business. It was a lot of working behind the scenes, doing stuff where I was like, is anybody watching these videos? Does anybody care? So as a travel agent, I built up a Facebook group to several thousand people, but it took me a few years to do that. Now, I did have a couple thousand people in that Facebook group before I became a travel agent, but even perspective there, if you've never built an audience online or a community, I started with a travel blog back in 2017. So by the time I became a travel agent in 2020, I already had about 2,500 people in that Facebook group. Now I've got about 6,000 people in that group, right? So things grow and you get better and you learn more over time. Do not expect this to be fast. Do not expect to be invited on the free fam trips or to get brand deals straight away. That's just not how this works. You have to first commit to it yourself internally and then show other people you're committed, the people who watch your videos or come across your content or who meet you in real life, by showing up consistently over time. Because remember, people are always watching, even if they don't comment on your stuff, even if they don't say anything to you in person, people are always watching and paying attention to what you do. So use that to your benefit. Show them that you're committed and they will not only book with you, they'll recommend you to other people. It's also not worth it to be a travel agent if you don't enjoy working with people, which I know sounds super obvious, but if you don't consider yourself a patient person, if you are not service hearted. And what I mean by this is travel, like I said earlier, can be really stressful. You're answering questions that you're maybe even thinking, oh my gosh, this is so easy or simple or basic. Why are they not getting it? That's why they're working with you, because it is easy for you, because you do have an experience, because you are well traveled. So many things that you do all the time now that are second nature are brand new to this person. They don't know, right? So you have to be patient. You have to be kind. You have to be comfortable with answering the same questions over and over again. And I would also say, if people are asking you the same questions, that's when it's time to make some content, right? That's why I recommend making YouTube videos or blog posts. I practice what I preach, right? And I could be even better than that, honestly. I'm always like coming up with ideas for my travel stuff after being on here. So there's things that you learn and do over time, and it all compounds on itself, and we'll show you how to do that. If you're not willing to learn or grow or specialize, if you're not coachable, and what I mean by that is, if you are more willing to look smart, you will struggle, okay? And I see this a lot because I work with teachers and they care a lot about appearance. They don't even realize that they do, but they really care about how others perceive them. And this is, I honestly would argue it's everybody, but especially teachers, because I work with them so much. They are so scared of looking dumb or stupid or like they don't know the answer that they're not willing to look dumb for a little bit, fail or flail around in public so they can figure things out. If you are willing to be silly, or look silly, I should say, look silly and take action quickly, you will go further faster than someone who's smarter than you, straight up, because you are willing to do the actions required. And when I say coachable, when I tell you to do something, hey, you're going to send over 200 messages to people telling them you're a travel agent. They're going to be like, oh, I don't know. You just have to do it. The only way to is through. You just have to do it and you will get more comfortable. It won't be a big deal once you do it. Final verdict, is being a travel agent worth it? Obviously, my own experience, I say yes. Being a travel agent has taken me to Antarctica, literally. Got to go for free, which was pretty incredible. I've had some amazing friends. I have been paid to go to really amazing events. I've been able to go to events for free because of either creating content for them that came from me being in this world and also being interested in becoming an expert. I have been able to go to amazing places because I've hosted group trips. As a teacher, I would not have been able to afford to go sailing and island hopping in Croatia, to go travel through Greece. I would not have been able to afford to do these things on my own, but being a travel agent has allowed me to, because one, I've paid more money. Two, I've found out about opportunities I can pursue, like going on fam trips and things that are sometimes a tenth of the cost or free. You just don't even know what is out there until you step through that first door. So that's what it's done for me. For the right person, it's more than worth it. Being a travel agent, I've also said, is not just like a job or a career, it's a lifestyle. And I know that sounds probably cheesy as hell, but it's true. Being a travel agent is a lifestyle. You have to love people. You have to be willing, again, to put yourself out there all the time, networking. And many people get discouraged by that. And I think hearing that, you might think, oh, that's not for me. I'm not an extrovert. I'm not someone who wants to be on camera. I'm telling you, your brain is going to give you so many reasons and excuses for why this won't work. And it's going to be right if you don't do anything, right? It's going to become a self-fulfilling prophecy, because if you truly believe this is not going to be worth it, it's not going to work for you, then you are not going to do the things that are required in order for you to get the results that you want. Straight up, that's how it is. Sorry, that was a little bit of tough love, but that's how I talk to my agents. I love them, but if they don't do anything, they can't be mad that they're not getting the results that other people are getting when the other people are doing the work. Now, here's the cool thing. You get an advantage that other people have not had. When travel agents had to come first work with me, they did everything by learning from me directly over time. Guess what? I have sped that up. You have at least 25 videos, probably more now, on this channel that you can go through and binge right now, because if you're not a travel agent yet, you're trying to decide whether or not this is worth it, am I going to pursue this? Tons of videos for you there if you're a future travel agent. If you've just become a travel agent, one big problem in our industry, especially because of the rise of MLM travel agencies, this is unfortunately one of the side effects, is that there aren't many people out there actually showing you how to be a great travel agent. They're just showing you the basics and helping you become one. I don't want you to just become one. I want you to become a great and successful one. That is what my YouTube channel is about. If you're into that, again, please like this video and show YouTube that this video is helpful, but subscribe so you can see more and click that little bell so you never miss notifications of when a new video is posted. I would love to hear from you truly. What are you thinking or feeling after watching this? What questions do you have? Drop them in the comments below. And if you'd rather ask me a question one-on-one and not have everybody else see it, you can totally do that. You can scan the QR code up here on the video. Just hold your phone up, act like you're going to take a picture. It will take you right to my Instagram profile. Or if you're already watching this on your phone, just go to Travel Agent Haven on Instagram, send me a DM. I'd love to hear from you. Otherwise, thanks again so much for watching. So nice to meet you. Talk soon.